If you're watching this, you probably invest a fair bit of effort trying to reach an audience. Whether you're selling enterprise software, legal services, or small batch coffee beans. And you've probably noticed something. Reaching people has become harder. Not a little bit, but sort of structurally harder, less effective, and more expensive. And you're not imagining it. That's what I want to unpack today with some interesting data, because there's a brutal pattern playing out in marketing, and it's been true for decades. Attention moves first and the money follows later, usually too late. Let's get stuck into it. Businesses keep spending in channels long after their audience has already moved on. That's the trap. And right now, we're watching that cycle repeat across email, Google search, cold outreach, LinkedIn, and even paid ads. Let's start with a clean example: US newspaper revenue. It's almost a little bit painful. US newspaper print ads revenue was nearly $50 billion in 2005. By 2022, total newspaper revenue, print and digital combined, was under $10 billion. The hole never backfilled. Census, owned by Telstra, they had the yellow pages and they sold it in 2014. Print directory revenue was still bigger than digital, even though everyone had already moved online. The clearest example: in 2014, print media had about 4% of the people's attention, but was still getting 18% of the spend. Mobile had already 30% of the attention, but only 8% of the spend. Eyes moved, budgets didn't follow for years. If you're waiting for revenue to drop before you change your strategy, you're already too late. By 2022, combined print and digital revenue for the entire industry was about $9.8 billion. That's nearly an 80% wipeout. And that hole never refilled. Why? That's because advertisers are still writing checks. Budget inertia, legacy habits, and companies that are addicted to processes, not agility, move slowly. Attention moves first, money lags behind. And that's exactly what's happening now. If newspapers had a structural decline, B2B outreach is facing saturation. Too many people hammering the same channels. The average worker now gets around 130 emails a day, and he sends about 40. That alone creates decision fatigue. And reply rates: cold email sits below 1%, trending down. The 2024 average was down from the year before, and it's going down as we speak. Email blockers, spam filters, and now AI means emails just are not getting through. And the ones that are drowning in this sea of noise, filling everybody's inboxes. And to make matters worse, open rates are now completely unreliable. Apple's mail privacy protection means tracking pixels fire before a human even sees the email. A robot is inflating your KPIs, so your dashboards are lying to you. LinkedIn is a similar story, with below 3% response rates. Basically, the email problem all over again, but it's even more nuanced than that. If you're a known brand or someone I know, a connection, this errs the response rate quite high, whilst cold emails are trending to near cold email response rates. But highly personalized, researched email with a serendipitous offer, right time, right place, from a known brand gets 18 to 25% response rates. The $100 plus a month fee that you pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, these guys don't really want you to know the nuanced data, and they are telling you that this is much higher than it really is. And if I'm an offshore web developer wanting to book a call, I'm virtually getting zero responses. Context matters, but the data is clear. Response rates are dropping. Why? Because scarcity forces quality. You won't waste a paid email credit on junk, so the bar rises. Thoughtful, researched messages still cut through. Volume is dead, quality is the multiplier. Let's go to cold calls. Surveys show that 80 to 90% of cold calls now go directly to a voicemail. Gen Z just don't answer their phones anymore and prefer to text or use Snapchat or some other different medium. Spam filters, avoidance, and just general fatigue have rewritten the rules. The just pick up the phone era is not quite over yet, but the days of good response rates is in the past. As the response rate drops, so too does the quality. These low wage places across the world with these really poor local people were forced to ring us at dinner time and ask us if we want to buy solar panels, get really rude responses. It's not their fault. And recently, the AI chatbot at our company, SSW, had a cold call from an AI cold caller. And this awkward conversations between these two robots shows just where it's all heading. Let's look at the biggest discovery engine ever, Google. It's not collapse, it's margin compression. Google is increasingly answering questions on the results page via snippets and zero-click answers. And roughly 58 to 60% of searches now end without a click. Even if you rank number one, the user may never land on your site. AI overviews accelerated this. And remember that about 30 to 40% of all clicks are just someone too lazy to put your web address into their search bar. Facebook.com, you're not really discovering Facebook. You're just too lazy to type the full address. AI overviews accelerated this. The classic 28% click-through rate for the top organic link dropped dramatically after rollout. And remember, organic clicks are gold. Top organic results pull 20 to 30% of total clicks. Paid search ads are around 3%. The click-through rate are pretty poor. A good organic ranking can outperform ads by a factor of 10 to 19x. This is why SEO has become both more important and more squeezed at the same time. So where has the audience gone? To trusted individuals. Google's own search head admitted 40% of Gen Z uses TikTok or Instagram for local discovery instead of Google Maps or search. They're not searching best cafe near me. They're following a creator they trust and going where they go. This trust shift is huge. 60 to 70% of consumers say they trust influencer recommendations over brand advertising. Authority has shifted from institutions to people. Your KPIs may simply be the wrong KPIs. Opens, impressions, reach, CTR, all this stuff, all vanity metrics that exist to make platforms look healthy. The only metrics that actually matter are sales. If you track this, you'll actually stop spending on channels that look fine on dashboard, but do nothing for your bottom line. Sadly, the old adage is true. 50% of your marketing spend is a waste of money. The problem is nobody knows which 50%. So where does AI fit in? AI is accelerating this shift, but in two totally different ways. Effective teams use AI to research topics and prospects deeply, summarize information, market insights, or customer tickets, extract genuine pain points, write in their own voice, informed by real insight. The ineffective teams use AI to crank out 3 generic posts a day, send 10,000 slightly optimized cold emails, and add to the noise that makes this attention even scarcer. One group is cutting through, the other is speeding up their own irrelevance. By 2024, around 70% of global ad spend was AI optimized. By 2029, forecasts say it'll be 90 plus. So here's the question. When almost every ad and every piece of generic content is perfectly optimized by AI, how does a real human cut through? My take? Your edge will be genuine originality, the kind of thinking no algorithm can predict or replicate. Personality is your moat, the human insight that doesn't exist in any training set. That's the content people will trust. And that's where the audience is already moving, because attention always moves first and the money follows very, very slowly. See you in the next one.